At the heart of this case are two fundamentally opposing views. Microsoft sees itself as a classic capitalist success story, a company that grew into America's most valuable business by giving consumers more innovation at less cost, making Bill Gates the planet's wealthiest man along the way. But in the eyes of the Justice Department and 19 states, Microsoft had morphed into an evil empire, a giant monopoly that unfairly and illegally crushed its competition. Today, in a 43-page verdict, Judge Thomas Penfield Jackson agreed that Microsoft is not merely a business bully, but a corporate outlaw.
We are pleased that the court agreed with the department that Microsoft abused its monopoly power, that it violated the antitrust laws, and that it harmed consumers.
No company, no matter how powerful or how successful, can refuse to play by the rules.
But at Microsoft headquarters, defiance. The message from Bill Gates, we won't back down.
This ruling turns on its head the reality that consumers know, that our software has helped make PCs more accessible and affordable to millions.
The judge ruled that Microsoft illegally abused its monopoly to try to bury its competitor, Netscape.
So they decided, let's put Netscape out of business so that we don't have to deal with them in the future. And you know what? They did just that. And Netscape as a brand will not exist in the next couple of years. It will go away, and it will be a footnote in the history of the Internet.
In unusually harsh language, Judge Jackson found Microsoft, quote, placed an oppressive thumb on the scale of competitive fortune. He wrote that only when the company's conduct is viewed as a single, well-coordinated course of action does the full extent of the violence that Microsoft has done to the competitive process reveal itself.
This ruling is very direct, it's very broad, and it shows that this judge thinks that Microsoft engaged in a lot of bad conduct, that it wasn't an isolated instance, it didn't involve just a particular technology, that it was really across the board.
The trial was often a public relations fiasco for Microsoft. Its chairman was widely criticized for appearing evasive and arrogant in those videotaped depositions.
I don't remember receiving it, but I don't have any reason to doubt that I did. I don't know what that means. What time is that? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
But since the allegations were first made nearly 3 years ago, Microsoft has decisively won the Internet browser wars, and in that sense, the company has achieved exactly what it wanted.
I think Microsoft's main goal in all of this has been to delay and delay. And in that regard, they've totally won. This case is not going to be resolved for any time soon. I'm sure we're going to have appeal after appeal. And I think Microsoft is trying to hold out as long as possible.
Today on Wall Street, investors anticipating the verdict knocked nearly 15% off Microsoft's stock market value, and the entire technology sector tumbled badly along with it. Today's verdict may bring more bad news for Microsoft.
The milk is now out of the bottle. The fact of the matter is that even if Microsoft settles now, there's the fact of this decision. It will undoubtedly encourage those who've already brought lawsuits against Microsoft, and will also prompt other parties to bring lawsuits as well.
There is the routine pummeling that will take place in much of the coverage of their activities that portrays them in a bad light, speaks about their transgressions, focuses on what ought to be done to sanction them. Microsoft will never have the preeminence that it had before. To some extent, its position necessarily will be weakened.
Now comes the penalty phase. At a minimum, the judge could order Microsoft to end certain anti-competitive practices. At a maximum, he could have the company broken up into separate pieces, the way AT&T was split up into the baby bells. Or he could insist that Microsoft share its billion-dollar baby, the Windows operating system, so it no longer enjoys a monopoly. But the revolution in technology is moving at such blinding speed, the case against Microsoft could soon be outdated. After all, in the Internet world, Windows is no longer the only game in town. Other software programs are gaining popularity. All those network appliances don't rely on Windows, and Microsoft's attempts to corner the market on content are meeting stiff competition.
Microsoft's biggest problem is the fact that Yahoo and other internet companies are becoming the new desktop. The desktop as a concept is going away. Microsoft's operating system is going to become less and less important as time goes on. They realize this, and the market realizes this. Ultimately, the market will solve this problem, not the Justice Department.